Usually to start off with some soft topics. I want to hear from you about what you think about how some of your drivers, how some of your teams performed coming into this season, coming into the last race of the season. Given what we saw in the last race, here are the classifications if you didn't watch that race, so you may kind of understand where your team was in its final positions. As you see, Max Verstappen and Red Bull at the top in 1 and 4, Russell making third, Leclerc making second with some shenanigans and some trying there to try to, squeeze out some points for that Constructors Championship for Ferrari, but it didn't work at all. And then we got McLaren coupled together at 5 and 6. Alonso still doing what Alonso does, putting Aston Martin on his back, and Yuki finishing in the highest position that he's finished all season, just one position under the highest position for the team that Danny Rick finished 7. He finished 8. But please don't forget, Yuki finished and collected more points for AlphaTauri than Danny did. Hamilton at 9, Stroll where he is, Ricciardo at 11, and so on and so on and so on. And then we got a lot of other shenanigans to talk about, as you see right there in the caption card, the segment card. Big red tall cup of extra bull, okay? Penalty for some, not others, and fibbing. So listen, let me tell you how this works. I've spent all my time all week doing talking, all weekend throughout the race, and I went ahead and even invited some haters, like I always do. Come on in, you got some debates, you got some things to say, let's hear what you got to say, let's pop tall and make it happen. Or are you just gonna remain quarterly keyboard warriors? But you are fans, you do support the channel, you do come back. I do live rent-free in your head. Actually, I own all the space between ear to ear, as small as it may be. I own that property because you come back here and you love the Wolfpack channel, and many of our family have said it. You come back because you love it. You can't stay away. So I understand. We got all types of people here: Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, any type. So listen, you know what I say? It's your time. It's your opportunity to come on. I can make this quick. I can say how I feel and get ghost. But let me first give props to the people who showed up in the chat. And right now, I'm going to end that poll. 90% of you said no, which means we should have quite a bit of calls coming in if you're not scared. If you're not scared. I mean, don't be scared to call in. You're not scared to type in the comment section. So we got Self-Made, Mary Beanie. What's going on? Big shout out to Mary Beanie. Self-Made. We got, who else we got? We got Sylvia Witt Kelly. We have Mary Beanie again. Mary Beanie again. We got family here. We got Pian in here. We got Galactus in here. We got Blue Diva in here. Who else we got in here? We got Insure Frames, which is the quality kickback damn near champion for 2023, winning 6 kickback quality trivia games, 6, which makes him the champion for 2023. I believe second place will go to Will with, I believe, 3, could have been 4, but I know it wasn't 6. And then I think after that, it may be a close shootout between Galactus and possibly Baraca, maybe Baraca. So big shout out to everybody who participated though. Mary Beanie, Self-Made, I think Chaos Druid, Spider R35, the Wildcat. Plenty of people participated in these games, had a good time, sent out some free money, which was good. And I will be sending out Insure Frames. He's going to get a total, I believe, a total of $75, $125 gift card, $150 gift card. Kickback quality will be coming back again next season. We are going to change it up a little bit. It's not that if you win, you can't win again. If you win 3, then we'll put you on, and then pretty much for a month or so, we'll go on without you, participating. And then after a month, you can come back in. But listen, honestly, I'm just going to tell y'all, like, all is fair in the war, spoils, and competition, what you have. It was an awesome time. Let's not take something that is fun and spoil it. It was a good time, and we're going to have a good time next time. While Galactus got 3 of them, so he's damn sure in there. So it's going to be a good time next time. Not damn sure believe Mary Beanie's going to get her 1, maybe even 2. The new format, even Insure Frames himself said that the new format is more challenging, so it's all up for grabs. So let's get into this. So you already see, I also want to know which GP, which race was your favorite. So let's go ahead and get these calls in. Who is first in the chat? Let me see who's first in the chat. Uno, my brother, my twin, my veteran, is first in the chat. So big shout out to Uno. Oh, Ursa starting it off. So we got 60-second Ursa. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. You got to go as fast as you can in that 60 seconds and make something happen. Let's go. Ursa coming in says close fight with Ferrari. Not a good look. FIA penalized Perez for criticism, but not why Max. That I feel them on that. Why Russell acting as TP, Red Bull dominant, not good look. And I believe Max was trying to be team principal as well, call it strategy. But do not forget, even after 60 seconds, if you go, you can apply again, raise your hand again, make another call in, and come back in and finish your point, especially if nobody else is in line. And even if somebody else is in line, I'm going to come back to you. If nobody's in line, I'll give you that time until somebody comes up. So Ursa, let's go, man. Let's start your F1 minute,
Can you
brother.
hear
Seems
me?
like you got some pretty good points. Ursa, what you got, man? Let's make it
Can you
happen.
hear me?
I can't hear you, brother.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
So my first point is that close fight with Ferrari isn't a good look. It's because the Ferrari had more problems than the Mercedes have. And for Toto saying that we are vice champions or something like that, I mean, I'm not buying it. It's a really bad look when Ferrari whole team was in shambles and they didn't perform really well overall. And my second point is FIA penalized Paris. And you see Verstappen, what does he do to FIA? He he literally, like, if this is the head of FIA, this is the head. And this is Verstappen's heel. He presses heel against the FIA. He treats them like this, literally like this, according to what he says. And then they penalize Paris. I don't understand. If you can tell me if there's someone else,
No,
then
go ahead.
I
Go
would.
ahead. Finish. Nobody else has called in yet, brother. I'm going to
Okay,
give you a little extra time to finish your points. You got it.
okay.
Go ahead.
So my third point is, why is Russell acting as a team principal? For Verstappen, we already know that he runs the team. We That's it, almost established. I don't think we need to think about that.
Right.
But Russell, with his performance this year, he's acting. Where are we? What's our status on? And I think whoever the race engineer was for Russell, he rightfully shut him up. That is not your job. I get it. Toto Wolff gave him credit for Abu Dhabi GP. I get it. But he does not deserve credit for overall performance of the team because he didn't perform well. It's just as simple as that.
I
And
agree.
then we see Red Bull as a dominant force. Now, if we see, except of three teams that don't have history of making cars and stuff, has Alpha Tauri and Red Bull. Now, if you look at Williams, Williams has been involved in two major projects, like, if you know Singer Porsche, that reimagines the Porsche 911s and remakes it. It may Williams Engineering made its engine for Singer DLS engine. And secondly, they made a Jaguar CX75 concept. So this is their history. But when you look at RB, what they have done, it's a drinks company. It's literally a drinks company. And if we are like 10, 20 years later, someone will look and they will say not a manufacturer won, but a drinks company won. So this is
Okay.
a
Ursa,
bad
let me get you to close that up real quick because Uno's
Okay.
calling in, then I'll
Okay.
let you come back.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ursa always coming in with some fire points. Uno was in. He says, time that Red Bull take their punishment like medicine. Uno, let me hear what you got, brother. Let me hear what you mean by that. Let me get a mic check from you first, man.
Mic check 1 2. How's it doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Retro, let's make it happen. I see you. I see you, Chelsea. Up, though. I see you.
Got
All
to,
right,
man.
here we
Got
go.
to.
F1 minute. Let's make it pop, bro.
Right. First of all, blessings to you and everyone in the house. At the moment, race day and the race year has been kind of like too much of what you call Chinese chopsticks. You try to handle them, but you have a hell of a lot to understand them and try to get the technique right. That's what Red Bull reminds me every constant time when they cheated by kind of like taking tape and wrap around a stick and make their fingers feel like that they mastered the handling of Chinese chopsticks. But about time that they face their medicine and take their punishment as a team that every other teams would have done, getting penalties every constant time. Like you would get Carlos getting penalties, like you would also get Lando getting penalties. Now you're gonna get Lewis getting penalties, which is real. I can't believe all this. But what? We don't hear Max getting no penalties? Now come on. This is going too far enough. And when it comes to now, the end of the season, we don't want to see that going on any further. We don't even want to know any more rumors of them coming out with a new car right behind their back and behind the screen. What we want them to do is follow the rules and keep it as regular as possible and stop crying. Because that's what Karen Horner is always seem to be doing. And every constant time we hear the excuses, I kept using that catchphrase. Give me McVitie's, not excuses, okay? Because you got the cookies. Get your hand out my cookie jar. Stop trying to come out like, say, I gave you permission to help yourself, when they're not allowed to do so and keep breaking the rules. That is why now the sport is kind of up balance. It's never steady, it's never sturdy, and they never keep the fans as pure as possible. We are more like honey. The richest, most purest, and tastiest thing on this planet, because it's what F1 is giving us. And if we're not getting that,
oh no.
if we're not getting that, how satisfied can we be? You're like you saying to a bear that needs the honey, you can't have it, and he's gonna go nuts and rip you to shreds, right?
All right, Uno, hold that, brother. We got Baraca calling in. Hold that, man. Make sure you call back in, bro, because they raving about you in the chat, bro. They raving about you in the chat. They say you preaching, brother. You preaching on them. Hold on.
That's what Chelsea's doing.
Uno got some fire on him tonight. Tonight might be one of those nights. Let's go to Baraca says Vegas was my race of the year. I can't even have a strong debate with him against that one. I think Vegas pretty much would be that. Baraca, man.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Go ahead. Give me a mic check.
Mic check. Mic check. 1 2.
A little louder. It need to be a little. Turn it up.
All right. Let me see this. Yeah.
Cause you ain't even registering on the meter.
Hello.
There you go. A little louder.
Mic check. 1 2.
That'll work. That'll work. Go ahead.
So I think Vegas to me was my race of the year. Obviously, the way how that race played out. Yeah, you can say it pretty much contributed to Red Bull's strengths, but with the power of the slipstream, gave almost every car a chance. Even when I think Lewis kind of messed up with Oscar Piastri at the beginning, he still had a fighter's chance to at least get a podium. So as George prior to him turning into Max, going into that long straight in the corner. But yeah, I think while the events leading up were suspect and probably mid as best, the race itself was very entertaining in my eyes. And yeah, it was, people say, oh, Max won, but it wasn't your typical like 10+ second lead. It was pretty closer than almost every other GP that we've had all year. And I feel like going into next year, I think teams are now going to understand the regs. Yeah, Red Bull has a very big advantage. They hardly brought any major upgrades this year, and they look comfortable. So only God knows what happens when they actually bring big upgrades, how they're gonna gap it. But so far, that race I think is a great median for every other team in the sport.
All right, Baraca, hold on. Pause what you got to say, man. What I want you to do is go off and come back, see if you can get your volume bumped up, bro, because you got some awesome points to make. So go back, come back, see about getting that volume bumped up.
Got you.
All right. Tanya coming in says Lewis V Team Checo Team LH. Damn, that's a mixture of things. Tanya. Well, I know it goddamn well. It is. Let's go.
Listen,
let's turn up.
I'm not gonna take up everybody's time, right? Because I'm cooking for my kids. But I would like to say a huge shout out to all the women. Las Vegas Grand Prix was ran by a whole bunch of women. Okay.
Facts.
Particularly shout out to my girl Pilar, Black woman, corporate sustainability and responsibility. She was one of the heads that put the whole thing together. So I just wanted to shout her out. They said it couldn't be done, but it was done, and it was done the right way. And indeed. I just want to also say that I am a Lewis fan, but I also have so much admiration for Checo. He's been through it this whole entire year. I feel like he did his best, and he deserves that seat. I really think that he does. I think that the FIA, they're still playing games. They're not fair, but we all know that they're not fair. Okay.
True.
And then also Lewis. I mean, I feel so bad for him. I know he said that he was not planning to retire until there was a race in Africa, but I could just feel his pain. I could just feel his pain for him not having a car that just doesn't perform. I did see the interview. I don't know if y'all saw it with Toto Wolff. He knows good and damn well that car is trash. He knows good and damn well that car is trash. I only hope that they were able to move forward with the development. There's a lot of optimism amongst Mercedes fans, though, for 2024 season. I'm cautiously optimistic. Wolfpack, I just don't know.
Thank you. I
am as well. Don't know if they have the technology. I mean, what Toto Wolff said about Max Verstappen is just that Red Bull car is extremely hard to drive, but he drives it on the rails and it's so reliable. You saw Lewis Hamilton's car, every time he would go and enter a turn, he was just like all over the place. It's like, come on, Mercedes, what are we doing in development? So I think that there's a lot of attention that needs to be paid for that. But yes, just like your previous listener said, Las Vegas was my favorite GP. Fam, we gotta go next year because I mean they pulled out all the stops. There is nothing bad that I can say about the Las Vegas GP. And you know what? It's a straight fact. Shit happens.
Big shout out, Tanya. Thanks for pulling up. You already know you always welcome. Always. Big shout out, Queen.
Shout out to the Wolfpack fam. Love y'all.
Thanks. Peace. Tanya checking in. We got Ill Will, then we got Kenny B saying Vegas was that I thought it was Vegas was what I thought it would be. We got Ill Will coming in first. Let's go. Ill Will, what you got, bro?
How's it going?
What's up, brethren? What's going on?
Chilling. So figure we get these let's get this award ceremony off started, right? So we got the WPPN award ceremony that's better than the FIA award ceremony. Mohammed Ben Sulayem is not invited. Award ceremony extravaganza. So let's get this on popping. So our first award that we're giving out tonight goes to the best team radio award. It goes to Valtteri Bottas and his race engineer Alex Chan's exchange during the Qatar Grand Prix. So everyone doesn't remember. That's good. I like the round of applause part two. If anyone doesn't remember, they had a little exchange at the end of the race, and Valtteri says, "Nice evening sauna, isn't this?" Because, you know, everyone was hot and everything like that. Alex says, "You can have the beer afterwards now." And Valtteri says, "There's no beer in hospitality." And Alex says, true, wrong country. Yeah, in the hotel later. And then Valtteri says, "Absolutely." They totally forgot. They can't have that down there in Qatar. So I thought that was one of the best ones throughout the year because it was one of those moments that they didn't really advertise on the F1 channel or anything because you already know that was probably pissing off some people down there in Saudi Arabia. So, so that was a pretty good one there. Our next award, Best Comeback Award, and that goes to Sir Lewis Hamilton at the Las Vegas GP with 15 overtakes. Most in any GP this season, a feat that I got to watch in person. So I'm piggybacking on Tanya and Baraca as far as it being the best race. This is not me being biased. It honestly was one of the best races of the season. Express that. Not just because I was there or anything. And shout out to the T-Mobile grandstand area where I was sitting at in turn 5 for the drink containers they gave us, which looked like bachelorette party size flasks, you know, those long ones type of thing and all that. $20 a piece, not that bad. And unlimited food that varied from fried PB&Js, ramen cups, sliders, churros, etc. A bunch of stuff. It was all unlimited, which was great. No lines for anything. Just walk up, get more food, come back on. It was pretty good. So I got to piggyback the Las Vegas GP thing. Everyone's saying that it was great. It really was a really good race in person or watching it from at home, I'd assume. Best Silly Season News Award goes to, you would think, let me just check here real quick. These are just blank pieces of paper, though. This honestly isn't like, it doesn't go to Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, because we all knew that was some news. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, that's crazy. Best Silly Season News Award goes to Anthony Hamilton for calling Red Bull to talk about Lewis going to Red Bull, which is nuts. And it's no wonder Lewis fired him as his manager back in 2010. I'm just going to say, that might be why I got rid of him at that time. So, listen, sometimes you got to separate that whole family and business thing. I get it. Shout out to Lewis for doing that. Which now brings me to our first commercial break and our sponsor, Pemberton Pastries. Longtime fans know Pemberton Pastries has been around for a long time for F1 Minutes. So Pemberton Pastries stepping up again, funding the WPPN Awards tonight. Purveyors of perfect piquant P1 honey buns and waffles. We stuck with them, and they stuck with us like a sticky bun. Back to you, Jay.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's about time for the last one. We get the WPPP network wheel in the house. All right, y'all. This is a special night already. We done had Tanya, we got Ursa, we got Kenny B, we got Baraca, we got Ill Will doing WPPN. And next, Kenny B coming said Vegas was what I thought it would be. Kenny B, explain it to us, my brother. You got 60 seconds to lay it down. What's going on, bro?
Good. It was everything I thought it was going to be. We all knew that it was going to be a brand new track, so it was going to be oily, it was going to be slippery, and because none of the teams could really set up for it, it was open season and anything could have happened, and that's what we saw. Unfortunately, and part of it was a total collapse of FP1, which caused a class action suit, but that's another story. Either way, it put the teams in a compromising situation. And personally, I think the FAA likes this kind of thing on purpose because it takes away from the fact that the RB19 is the most dominant vehicle out there. So they've come up with ways like the sprint race and other things to try and throw a monkey wrench in there to put more chance into the race. Now, it hasn't really worked that well, but everybody who's seen the race knows that that was a great it really was a great race. The problem is, it's not going to be like that next year. That road is going to get somewhere. Teams are going to have the data that they have now, and everybody's going to be prepared for it next year. The flip side of that is, so will the FIA, and they won't have the kind of problems that they have right now.
Roger that. So let me ask you this, man. What was your favorite portion about the overall event? Was it the actual racing on track? What it delivered as far as what you thought it was going to be? Was it a specific time and event between two competitors on track? Or you can pretty much say the overall package of the GP pretty much pleased you overall? Or do you have a highlight moment that happened in that race that stood out to you?
There weren't any highlight moments. There were a lot of great moments in the race, but there wasn't a specific highlight moment in my mind because all I was thinking about was that last turkey race in the rain where Lewis just really showed his butt. And I knew this track was going to be that slippery, number one, because of the new surface. And then you add on top of that the fact that the temperatures were going to be cold, you were going to have graining. So only experienced drivers would know how to deal with that, know how far they could push the car over the envelope to see what they can do to get the car back into the racing window as early as possible so that they can be the ones challenging for positions. And that's what we saw.
Bet. Hey, Kenny B, man, you know you got to come on more than once tonight, bro. I got Uno up next. You got to come on more than once, Kenny B. And I like that camo hat, bro. I like that camo hat.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Kenny
it.
B coming on with the swag. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody said they want Kenny B as their engineer. I saw that out the corner of my eye. We got a super chat. Spider R35 says Vegas needs to become the finale. I do. I'm in vote for that. AD is boring track to be the last race of the year. Vegas got glitz, glamour, and good racing to end with a bang. I agree, Spider R35. Will I Am says there is more to come, Jay. That's what I'm talking about. We got Ill Will back for the last episode of the season. We gonna come back in again next season hot and ready. And right now I got Uno, my brethren, coming back to preach to y'all right now. Uno, come on in, brother, man. Let's get it in.
1, 2.
Yeah,
1, 2.
you in, Uno. You good, brother, man. I'm finna start that clock. Go ahead, bro. Kick it off.
Yep, I got to say that I have to agree with people that Vegas really did blow my mind. And as I said in my catchphrase of it, Viva Las Vegas. And it is more like F1. Damn Las Vegas. It take my breath away, all right? was some race and fine than any damn wine, than any damn entertainment ever. And like I all agree what people said, that should be less than the stupid AD. AD did not have quality. It just only have what we all hate. Nothing of a memorable track. Nothing of a reminder of the race. And it was just too damn short in 58 laps. And all it had was too much of a ghost effect on that laps. So when I sat there and watched, I just had to switch off my telly and just go play my PS, man. You know, because it did not hold like what I always saw. And then seeing Lewis struggling to get in 10th, George, man, what happened with Merck? What's going on? What the hell?
Bro.
George claiming to get the 4th and get the points for the Mercedes team to hold the 2nd position, but it should be Lewis making it more to finish off the race entirely. Why was he struggling? Why was he having a poor look with that poor W14? The 14 did want to finish off like his sisters, but unfortunately that car was coming like a dead horse that did not even get any hay or any flaming taken care of. It just get like, okay, good horse, get back in the barn. And that was it. Done. That's a shame to have a portrait of the 2 top priority cars and then having this go through a hell of a haze. That don't make it as any way to bring back in the next year or the next season in that particular color. So go back into the silver light and stay that way until when they can handle bringing out the proper strength of that car to make sure it can match the other 2 twins.
Bet. All right, Uno, sound like to me what Uno was saying is that Mercedes need to come with it 2024. They need to come with a better car. Tanya was going around the same. We got Ursa coming in, we got Ill Will, and then we got Insure Frames popping onto the screen next. Ursa, let's go. He says conflict of interest, FIA and F1. Ursa, go ahead. You got your 60 seconds, brother. Lay it down.
Yeah, first conflict of interest. If you remember, when there was cost cap issue, there was huge hue and cry from the Red Bull that a lady is from Mercedes team, she should be fired for that. And but what I don't understand, the Mohammed bin Sulayem, who has been ex Red Bull driver, and he accepted this in the 2022 closing ceremony when Horner and Mohammed bin Sulayem had little bit of fight.
Yep.
And Stefano tried to stop it.
Yep.
So that itself is conflict of interest. Why hasn't any team demanded that that guy should be kicked out of FIA presidentship? And other thing is FIA is selling literally, how would I call it? Literally selling us poop as chocolate. And they are saying accept it. They are saying accept Red Bull did a good job. Why? Red Bull cheated. Have we forgotten that? Have we all forgotten that Red Bull cheated? Give $2 million to every other team. Then if Red Bull performs, then I will be the one to say I promise here on your show. If they give $2 million to everyone, every single team, and if teams don't perform better than Red Bull, then I will be the one to accept Red Bull dominance.
Oh shit, Ursa just came with one. Yo, nobody's come with that take on the show at all. That was a banger. That was a banger of a challenge. Ursa says since Red Bull spent over $2 million on the cost cap, give every team aside from Red Bull $2 million and see what they can do. If those teams do not result in a likewise performance, then he will accept it, because then at that point, if you give every team $2 million, because that's what they breached by in a USD currency, I think it was 1.8 million pounds, which equates to just over $2 million in US currency, then that means you would have never been able to do or accomplish what Red Bull did with $2 million. But still, there is a quirk there. There's still something there. Adrian Newey, what do you do about that? Yes. Is it free game? No. Adrian Newey's the only engineer to have experience with ground effects that's actively in a Formula One team. And that is a big, huge advantage. So, but still, what Ursa said, I like that. I like where he came with that. That was good, constructive, creative thinking. I like that. Ill Will coming in next. Then we got Insure Frames. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring Insure Frames on first, then Ill Will. Insure Frames coming in. Let's go, bro. You got your. Oh, it says, wait a minute. Mike and Cam already in use. What should I do? Insure Frames is gonna have to go out and come back again. So I'm gonna bring them out. They're gonna have to work out their camera and their mic situation. Insure, give me a mic check real quick. Yeah, they got nothing. Okay. Wait. Okay, there you go. I can hear you. All right, bro. Let's go ahead, man. You got your 60 seconds. It was saying that you had an issue. Go ahead.
Yeah, it says that to me on my end as well. Alrighty. So as the lone Red Bull fan that calls in rather consistently.
Actually, Baraca's with you. Baraca's also a Red Bull fan.
Is he? I didn't even know.
He is a Red Bull
Baraca,
fan.
Bro. Let's go. Anyways, as far as what I wanted to talk about was previewing. At the end of the season, because Verstappen winning was so predictable, I started really deep diving, thinking, sitting around and like trying to analyze who's like more likely next season to be like a bigger threat.
Okay.
Who's going to like, I don't know, because then there's a lot of unknowns going into the next season. But I wanted to especially highlight how well Ferrari ended their season. One of the things that we've always criticized Ferrari is Ferrari being Ferrari, where they would like shoot themselves in the foot with their pit stops, bad strategies, and it seems like Mercedes have become Ferrari, and Ferrari have like, I don't know, become more like Red Bull in a way. They didn't switch because I don't know if Mercedes were necessarily perfect operationally in the dominant years. They were better than what they are now, but I wouldn't say that they were perfect.
Right.
Give me more time. Or...
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish that point, brother. Go ahead.
All right. So as what I was saying, I think that next season is going to be another serving of Red Bull, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a serving. I think 21 or 22 wins, that's definitely not going to happen. I think we're probably going to get something like slightly less dominant than 2022.
Okay.
But the team that I think is going to be taking most of those wins away from Red Bull is Ferrari. I see them as a bigger threat. I don't take Mercedes too seriously. I take Hamilton seriously, but I don't take Mercedes seriously.
Right.
As of recent, I think operationally they've gone downhill, and they have not demonstrated a willingness to improve. It's not like race after race they're better and better. It seems like race after race they're getting worse and worse. That's true. Even though think about it this way, what mistake has Ferrari as a team, not necessarily the drivers, have they made since Monza?
Okay.
Can you think of one?
Time point. No.
They really, whatever their car can do, they get out of it every time. It's I think Fred Vasseur is doing a good job.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think Fred Vasseur is doing a good job.
The beginning of the season, they look more like typical Ferrari, and then later on, it's like the better and better, more consistent. Sainz sold the bag in qualifying. Sainz, they couldn't help what happened to them in Las Vegas.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, that was out of their control.
Yeah, but other than that, they've
opportunity. No, they got unfairly penalized, so that's really not on them as well.
Yeah,
it's
not really. I think, and Ferrari's pace is pretty decent too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Charles Leclerc, comfortable second at Abu Dhabi, comfortably second at Las Vegas. Took it to Max fairly often, even went near Max. The only thing the Ferrari car in the latter stage of the season was lacking is tire wear.
Yeah, tire dig was a situation with them. But Charles has got to get a bit stronger against Max, man. He does.
No, of course. I think Leclerc, I think a lot of that to do is that Leclerc doesn't think, and he kind of knows that he can't kill his tires trying to race Max. He can. I think he can race Max for more laps. But if he does that, then he risks himself
in their current situation with tire dig.
Yeah, he risks himself being caught up by Perez, who's also much further back in the field with Russell. He knows that his race isn't Verstappen on that day. But we've seen it also in 2022 when Leclerc thinks he can actually challenge Max, that he races Max. So there's evidence to show that Leclerc can if he wants to, but he doesn't feel confident in his car, and why would he compared to the RB19 that he can hold on to for many, many laps.
All right,
But
bet that up, Insure Frames. Yo, bro, hold on, man. If you got more, come back because we got people lining up. So make sure you come back to finish up some of the points because they're solid, bro. Appreciate it. Hey, and congratulations on the 6P.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem.
I'm gonna go for the 3P as well for grudge racing if we do another one this weekend.
Yeah, bet that up, bro.
All right.
We got next up, we got Ill Will, but we got Super Chats at 10 too. Galactica says Vegas should start 6 p.m. and fade to a night race. I do agree with that. I like that. That would also bring in some temperature challenges as well, but not as extreme as it was with them doing the race damn near mid-morning and all that other stuff. Galacticus also says that Ferrari 2 million could pay for Carlos crashing out. Oh, shit. Galacticus also says Merck just made it past Ferrari by dumb luck. And then we got Uno in the super chat saying RB's 2 million also should help Sargent avoid crashes. Yo, big shout out. We got some very punchy statements in there. Right now we got Ill Will coming in, then Baraca, then Lewis can win this year. And I gotta hear that. Then we got Ursa again. We got a plethora of calls. Let's get to them. Ill Will, let's lay it out. Then Baraca, you are coming up next. Ill Will, what you got for me, brother?
All right, so let's start this off before we give out some more awards. Let's start this off with giving a congratulations to Logan Sargent for taking P1 in the WDC, the World Destructors Championship, which means that he basically topped out above Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. 4.3 million estimated dollars in cost for repairs and all that for his car versus Carlos Sainz, who was 3.6 million, and Sergio Perez estimated 3.2 million. So congrats to my guy, Logan Sargent, winning the 2023 F1 WDC World Destructors Championship. Start there. Let's go into some more awards, shall we?
Yeah.
This is down 2 out of 4 though. We've got 2 other segments after this, so we're loaded up and ready to go. Most consistently inconsistent award goes to, it's a tie between Lance Stroll and the FIA. They're going to share this award. I don't know who's going to keep it at, it's going to be in Canada or France. They're going to share this trophy, though. Unfortunately, both parties showed up to the awards ceremony extravaganza that's better than the FIA's, but left during our last commercial break. Further showing their passion, commitment, and dedication for being truly worthy of the Consistently Inconsistent Award in 2023. Congrats to them. Congrats to them for not even being here to accept the award, but showing up to the ceremony. That's how they get down. FIA, Lance Stroll, you know how that is. Best Grudge Racer Award. Now, this one was... Most people probably already know where this was going to be going, so it's actually not Broken Hypocrite. Reason for this is these awards are for human beings from planet Earth, and Broken Hypocrite is an alien.
I knew you was gonna say it.
So, the award goes to Hillian, the Supreme Marine, the Pennsylvanian automotive pugilist, grudge racing stats, race wins, 2 race wins, no qualifying poles, always coming from behind to get those wins, 9 podiums, 14 top 5 finishes, 17 top 10 finishes, 2 livery wins, 11 DNFs before drivers of the day. So congrats to Hillian for winning the Best Grudge Racer Award. Shouts out to Hillian, my tri-state guy up there. The last one before we go to our next commercial break, Best Grudge Race Award. So this is the best award. This goes to the best race that we held. And this is an easy one. This was the Imola GP, where the Wolfpack Performance fam raised well over $1,000 for the relief efforts in northern Italy. So shout out to all of us doing our thing. Shout out to Jay for putting this all together, making sure the donations went through. It was a really good event that we put together for a good cause. We have to take a break, pay some more bills.
Let's get it.
This portion of the award ceremony extravaganza is brought to you by Palermo's Potent Potables. You remember them from earlier in the year. Purveyors of powerful peach punch when Scuderia Ferrari lets you down, and more specifically, lets down Monegasques and smooth operators from Spain worldwide. Think Palermo's Potent Potables. Back to you, Jay.
Hey, all those plosives are awesome. We got super chats. ADVR Carlos is in the house. Says hello, guys. Hope everyone is doing good. Looking rearward to do the Wolfpack Championships. I know, man. We looking forward to that, bro. We looking forward to that big time, bro. The ADVR Carlos supplying the pedals. Wolfpack supplying down the bass, and he did the wheel. So, you know what I'm saying? Brother came through on that. We got Baraca coming up next. Says, I'm going to be real. The FIA F1 split will be on the levels IndyCar split. Oof, let's go, Baraca. Hopefully we got the mic up. We got to turn up the volume
can you
up.
hear me?
Let's go, man. Let's give me a mic check.
1 2 1 2.
There we go, bro. Let's go, man.
Yep.
You got it, man.
So I think I can't remember I'm not even gonna try to butcher his name, but when he said the whole F1 Red Bull thing and how they say F1 teams need to do their whole governing thing.
Ursa.
On paper it sounds very nice, but in practice, given the history, it could probably make or break a sport. For those who probably don't watch IndyCar, way back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, F1, it was actually bigger than F1 here in the States. Very popular, bigger than NASCAR. But then teams and governing bodies were starting to butt heads over, rules. The owner of Indianapolis Motor Speedway saying, oh, there's too many foreigners and not many homegrown talent in the sport, yada, yada. You got teams like Chip Ganassi, I think Penske was also in it, saying it's like, man, we don't need y'all. We could do our own. We have our own thing. We got CART. And next thing you know, they split. And that nearly killed the sport. Now, where I'm going with this is more of, it's like, hey, I understand many fans' frustrations about the whole inconsistency on how rules are being applied. I understand it. Even as a Red Bull guy, obviously, I'm gloating about, how we pretty much patriot our way into a we three-peated. We were the New England Patriots, the most hated team of the season, The one time the one time I will confidently compare whatever I like to the Patriots. Don't get used to it, because I loathe that team. But that being said, I think that's the very last thing F1 should go for. Just taking a split off of the FIA, because the FIA pretty much has a chokehold on in terms of the tracks around. If you see major race events, I think, who's the governing body? Who's the people behind it, other than the scrutineers that the track employs? The FIA.
Right.
Now, will Liberty Media cough up the bit bucks to make their own thing? Who knows? I highly doubt it. But I think, given the history on how things play out, I think a split from the governing body, in my opinion, is probably the last resort, and even shouldn't be considered, because it can really kill it. In my opinion, it could really kill it. So that's what I wanted to say. Then for also, I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, next season, Logan Sargent can have his redemption period. Ended the season. He ended the last 4 races. He was it seemed like he was starting to get a handle on things. James were giving him his praises. He's starting to get his confidence. So we'll see. Also, Piastri, I hope he doesn't have.
That's my dog.
He's your dog, but let's be real. When it comes to rookies going into their sophomore season, it hasn't been too kind. Especially, it could be especially those rookies that have been throwing it out the park their rookie year.
Right.
I'm keeping a close eye. I'm keeping a close eye on the Team Papaya. So yeah.
All right. That's a bet, Baraca. Hey, he ain't lying about. I ain't gonna lie. I was concerned about that sophomore slump too. Yo, big shout out to Randy Kendall for the first time super chat coming out of Canada, coming out of Toronto. Big shout out to you. Thank you very much for the props. Thank you for being here. Thank you for also the super sticker, and a big shout out to the Wolfpack Up. And also, we'll point out we've done some awesome work this season. We did some last season. We're going to keep on rolling, and we got more coming. We got Lewis can win this year. We got to hear this. I know this got to be Kenny B. Got to be Kenny B. Yeah, it's Kenny B. It's Kenny B.
Wait. I did not say that.
Oh, you said that was you. You said that.
Politics.
Yeah, you said that.
I know. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's what your thing said. Lewis can win this year.
It's just like from a couple of weeks ago, man. For real, I'm dead serious. Look, man, I told you last time I was on. You need to work on this app because some strange things are going on.
Kenny B said, I did not say that shit.
And I said F1 politics because what I wanted to talk about,
All right.
the beef, and he kind of covered it, was the beef between FIA and Formula One. Not necessarily Formula One Liberty Media, but the teams that they have contracts with.
Okay.
That's a big problem. But just to tap on some stuff that your Red Bull fan said earlier, I think he had it backwards. Okay. What he was trying to say was Ferrari kind of cleaned up their stuff and Mercedes kind of stepped in Ferrari stuff, so those two kind of switched. Ferrari is not bulletproof in their strategy like Red Bull. Not even close. But, and then on top of that, their car, yeah, they got great one-lap speed, but they don't have race pace. But a whole nother story. My thing about the FIA and the teams, and he kind of covered what happened in IndyCar and kart. Greed is a mother. Greed is a real motherfucker. And greed is the reason why it took so long to get the Concord Agreement. The Concord Agreement is an agreement between the teams to come up with a cost cap. The whole purpose between the need for a cost cap was the teams who have and the teams who have not. You got 3 to 4 teams at the top who get all the advertising money and the other teams at the bottom who have struggled. Right. Now, before this last cost cap, at one point, as many as 12 teams on the grid. But now that Formula One and Liberty Media is doing so great, which I give more credit to Lewis than I do Netflix. Are you kidding me? And like Lewis said, watching Drive to Survive is like watching the Kardashians. The way they twist up and make it up. But look, this is my point. And I'm the biggest Mercedes fan out there, but I totally disagree with Toto Wolff. He needs to let Andretti in for 2 reasons. 1, legacy, and number 2, competition. You cannot say that you are the world championship, the pinnacle of racing, and you won't let one of the most legendary families in auto racing worldwide into Formula One because you don't want to split your purse. It's wrong for competition, and it's wrong for the greed part because greed can never survive. Greed suffocates everyone else around them, and eventually all those people wake up and they turn on greed. So that's a bad reason to do this. You got a winning model, you need to do the right thing and let Andretti in. They've got the money, they've got their own advertisers. Formula One was saved by America.
Ooh.
Once they came into the American market, they were able to tap into that money and that revenue stream. That's why they had to get Vegas, and that's why they shelled out all the money themselves because of greed. Now, yeah, they spent $500 million, and it's going to be more than that when they get done with these class action lawsuits. But hold on, wait. At the end of 10 years, they know at the end of that, it will have been a huge payoff. Number 1, because the racing was great.
Yeah. And
number 2, it's a third race in the American market, one of the richest markets in the world.
Facts.
Okay? The whole purpose behind it, the reason why it took Formula One to get to this kind of profit margin is you had the owner of Formula One who felt, I don't need the masses, I need the millionaires. I need their money to pay for what we are doing here on the racetrack. Only millionaires have the kind of money that we need to be able to do this year in and year out. That's Eccleston. Okay, but Liberty Media came in and said, you're wrong. Guess what? It's about the spectacle. You've already got a good product, the greatest, some of the best race cars in the world. Now we just need to, 1, save every team on the grid, and make them all profitable, like IndyCar has finally done, but not to the level that these guys are doing. Are you kidding me? And then you come into the American market and you won't let one of the best known teams in the American market, you won't let them in?
Right.
That's shady.
That's shady, baby. Hold on, Kenny B coming with some damn gems. Hold on, Kenny B. We got other people lining up, bro. You on the roll. Kenny B said it's shady, baby. Y'all ain't acting right. We got Ursa coming in. We got Ill Will coming on the back of Uno. We got Uno before that. We got hella call-ins. This is how we like to cap it off. Ursa, you got the mic, man. 60 seconds. Let's go.
So first thing I wanted.
Hold on, Ursa. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop your time. I'm gonna give you your time. Just hold on.
Okay.
First off, let me go ahead. ADVR Carlos said congratulations to Ducati for the 2023 World Championship. That's a fact. Big shout out to Ducati, my cousin. Rest in peace. Died in October from cancer. He used to ride Ducati, so definitely on that 31 years of age. So rest in peace to him. Sylvia Wick says, just want to thank Will for the giggle. I needed that. You were on fire. Then we have Blue Diva saying Kenny B just nailed it. Keep coming up with the FIA is not what we want in our sport. Ursa, you got your time, bro. I'm finna start it over for you. Go ahead.
First of all, we need to think something about this, what I am about to say. Normally, organization have spokesperson. Now, in F1 scenario, we have F1 and FIA being a spokesperson to Red Bull by saying accept their dominance and we are not gonna penalize Red Bull for the job they did and we are not gonna penalize our good boy Verstappen. So they are being spokesperson of Red Bull. This is surprising we need to think of. Now my first point is that pit lane issue. The pit lane issue has happened many times this season. Why didn't FIA acted before? So in this case, when the rule changed at Abu Dhabi, I'm with Max in this case because it happened at the last. Why didn't you do it at the first place? And second thing, I want to draw a parallel between the close fight between Mercedes and Ferrari with boxing fight. Recently, there was Tyson Fury and Francis fight. I was supporting Tyson Fury at that time. And Francis proved everyone, including me, wrong that he was worthy of being a boxer. And he got robbed. And we know how
Yeah.
the judges and all that. So he proved everyone wrong. In same way, Ferrari proved everyone wrong. And it's a moment of shame for Mercedes that it's such a close fight. So this is why what I wanted to say. That's it.
Okay, big shout out, Ursa. Appreciate you, man. And we got Uno coming up, but then we also have Kenny B probably will come back. He coming with some hella fat. He coming with some nice. Hey, Kenny B coming with some fire tonight for real. Uno coming with some fire. We're gonna let Uno in, and Ill Will coming in for some more Pimbleton pastries and kitty litter corners and all that. Uno, brother, you got 60 seconds. Lay that track down, bro. Lay it
Yeah,
down.
1, 2, 1, 2. Kenny's not wrong about what we just talked about, and I've been saying it as well. If you can all remember, when I've been saying that this sport is bringing a lot of corporate sponsors, but the main sponsors of all people in this time is the manufacturers of cars and industry of their powerhouses. And what you get, like Mercedes, you get Alpine, who are formerly Renault, and then now you're getting Ferrari. But if you notice how Ferrari has got their launch of their movie, that set the bar, right? All those houses of big names are the ones that gave us these entertainments, and so far so good. This is why we've seen how much it is mainly set in America, where the money is all businesses. And if they don't bring in this Andretti in this business, right? That's like you're saying that you ain't putting the main ingredient in the cake. And that's the missing ingredient, because you can't have a good cake and nobody's going to eat it when you want a corporate sponsors behind you. That's what I've been saying. And the main thing of all I was saying about Yuki, if they're going to change the name of this AlphaTauri, keep that guy still in, because he's done his hardest, he's done his greatest, and he set the level more better than what you got of Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo did his best in Red Bull, but he's not the AlphaTauri man like Yuki. And Yuki has blown not only with Nick De Vries, Gasly, and who else?
He went
Oh,
to
yeah.
with Liam.
Yeah, I was gonna say Liam, but
Yeah.
Liam has actually
Liam
done
did a
better.
good
So
job.
Liam,
He did.
step out, right?
Yeah, Liam
so
did a good job.
it's only those two guys. But
Right.
apparently, Nick De Vries was going to be representing alongside his fellow countrymen. But unfortunately, Helmut Marko cut him off like he was a damn ribbon on a ceremony. And now pronounce it, oh, sorry, goodbye. And that was it.
Right.
So Nick De Vries didn't get his opportunity, but although that's his fellow countryman, that's sad. But the main thing I've been saying there right now is to keep that guy Yuki, because he's definitely shown he may be a Japanese guy, but he's representing also Takuma Sato and all the other legendary Japanese drivers who also shown their worth with Honda. And Honda, who is the one that is covertly doing what Red Bull ain't doing, because they're the ones who are making them get the constructorship than the other way round. And if it was Honda that took over Red Bull, then you would find out more who is the powerhouse.
Roger that. Big shout out, Uno. Big shout out for that. We got Kenny B coming in. My last word on Lewis and his car. Then we got Will gonna bring us into the finale of this. So Kenny B, let's go ahead and make it happen, bro. What you got going on?
Look, he just brought back some real raw feelings about that whole deal with Honda and Red Bull. And I don't think a lot of people know what happened with that deal. Why a company like Honda, and I think the reason why people didn't pay much attention to it is because Honda has a history of doing this, of leaving the sport and coming back, and then leaving the sport and then coming back. And as a matter of fact, there's a documentary that just came out last week about just that, about Braun GP. And when I first heard the story, and I saw my first documentary on it on YouTube, I was like, wow. I can't believe they blew that like that. And most people don't know, who are new to the sport, don't know, that's Mercedes. That is who Mercedes was, Braun GP. When Honda left the sport in 2008 from the financial collapse, they said, hey, sorry guys, we're out. And that's when Ross Braun said, well, hold on, wait a minute. You don't realize this is the UK here. You can't just pack your bags and boogie and leave all these employees hanging. So they worked a deal where they was able to get $100 million out of Honda. Actually, I don't think they worked a deal because Honda realized they needed to do something to resolve this, and if they really wanted to wind it down, they had to do it right. So they offered Ron for that season, and he's on his own after that. And it was a huge commitment from Ross Braun. He did it. It was the smart thing to do. The thing was, I mean, they didn't know what kind of car they were going to have. And then now Honda's out, where you get your entry from. Well, guess who popped in the picture? They went to the Mercedes and said, hey, can you supply us with engines for this season? And Mercedes said, sure, we can, but hey, look, we got to kind of get a down payment up front. They said, oh, no, we'll pay you for all the engines in advance, because they had the money from Honda. And that's what they did. And the thing about it was, this was the most unadvertised car in the history of Formula One. It was white with a black stripe and a lime green stripe, and that was pretty much with Braun GP on it, and that was pretty much it. What they didn't know was there was I don't even know his name, but you probably need to watch the documentary. There was a little known Japanese engineer who was looking at the regulations for that year and was saying, hey, look, I think we got a loophole in here where we can bring extra air up from the floor in the rear and use that to get more power out of the rear of the car.
The diffuser?
The diffuser, yes. Also known as the double diffuser. And that started a whole nother war. But that's not really what I came on here to talk about. In a way,
good shit though. I like it. What you got?
everybody's sitting here wondering whether Mercedes can do the right thing, whether Lewis can do the right thing for next season. And I think that people forget that Lewis was convinced to come to Mercedes in 2013 because he was given information about their new power unit and said, look, nobody's ready for us. These are the test results we got. Yeah, we're not there on the suspension. Yeah, we're not there on the chassis. Yeah, we're not there on aero. But next year, when the new engine regulations come out, nobody's ready for us. And we've got time to learn and get better, build the facilities that we need, the computing power we need to analyze methodically what our weaknesses are and strengthen them up. Now, they had all these years of the V6 power unit, hybrid power unit regulation from 2014 to do that, and they did. By the end of that rule change, they showed that they're on par aerodynamically with the other teams because Honda proved that they can make an engine on par with Mercedes, didn't they? Now, everybody copied their style, splitting the intake, the air intake, the turbocharger, and separating the intake from the heat side of it, giving it an extra 20 plus horsepower and an advantage over everybody else. And as long as they could keep building on that year on year, no one could catch them. You had to change your entire design and start from scratch. Guess what? Ferrari did it and Honda did it. But Honda was locked into an ironclad deal with Red Bull that left them holding the entire cost of it because they blew it when they signed that deal with McLaren and they underproduced. And they wanted to clean their name up when McLaren left them, and they took some really, really bad turns.
Took some bad turns, yeah.
Okay? And that's what happened that separated them from Red Bull. Then they turned around and threw more crap on top of that and gave Red Bull the intellectual properties to the
IP, yeah.
I was like, really? What the hell? That was just so they could get out of that deal. So you know you got shafted if you got to give up your IP on your brand new ice just to get out of the deal.
Right.
So when they turned around and said, okay, we're leaving Formula One again, which didn't make sense to anybody because we didn't know the terms of the deal with Red Bull at the time. But then Aston Martin comes out of nowhere and signs a deal with Honda power units, and now they got the second best engine out there.
Right, on the market.
And Red Bull is getting ready to get on board with Ford. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What? If we'd have known that, we'd have never left y'all. We'd have never let this go like this. What's going on?
Right.
Well, this is what's going on. You got too big for your own britches. You had us leaning over the barrel. I mean, you was spanking us heavily. You made it clear you wasn't gonna let us get out, so we gave you what you wanted. Why don't you back up?
Yeah.
My whole point is these team owners use some of the most bad behavior in the world. And I'll give you the perfect example. DAS. Formula One is always talking about how they're on the cutting edge. They've always been on the cutting edge of every new discovery in automobiles. Everything that's come from the track has ended up on the cars all over the world, haven't they?
That's true.
Okay? And over time, they've outlawed some of them. But one of the worst ideas in the world that showed the most cronyism, and it was just the worst decision in the world, was when Mercedes came up with DAS, direct access steering.
Right.
And when you read the rules, you knew they had it right. Not only did they have it right, but their first iteration that they put in, they let the FIA come in and say, hey, look, do you see anything wrong with this? They told them what they saw that was wrong with it, and they made sure that any change to the suspension, or that could be considered the suspension that wasn't aerodynamically affected, was part of the steering. And that's how it ended up in the steering wheel.
Yep. Push in and pull out, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And you know why teams are complaining about the tires all the time, all season long, okay? And you know why they couldn't outlaw it that season. They wanted to, but they couldn't.
They had to let it play out.
But they knew the next season they were getting rid of it because every team voted it out. And you know why? Because they didn't want to put the money into the development.
Facts.
But they keep pushing back every year to getting rid of tire blankets.
Right. But Kenny B, hold on, man. I got a bunch of people out of, man. You gonna get me involved in a conversation with you forever, bro. You spend some facts, bro. You spend some facts. That man dropping some balls right here. I could talk to Kenny B forever about that. Kenny B coming with some fire tonight, y'all. Y'all give Kenny B some thumbs up in the chat. I got Ill Will coming on because we got our third segment with him. Then I got Obama coming on. Then we got Ill Will again, and whoever else gonna jump in with that. But we got super chats. ADVR Carlos says F1 have to correct the 2021 mistake. I can't let that go. I don't see F1 the same anymore. They have to award Lewis with his 8 scenario later. They got to give it to him. I feel you. ADVR also says Lewis already did the right thing and they robbed him. Front of the whole world live on TV. ADVR, you know he real passionate about that. He gonna let that be in. I see it, man. Kenny B dropping bars. Obama, we got Ill Will for our third segment. Then Baraca, you coming on next. Ill Will, what you got for us, man? Man, this episode tonight, bro, going ham. Goddamn. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
You got to do this for the final, after Abu Dhabi and all that, the final race of the season. You gotta bring out the big guns. So that's pretty much it. I mean, listen, we've gone back and forth on performance talk. We've gone back and forth on F1 Minute for 17 bajillion episodes about all types of topics throughout the season. So we might as well bring out the fun stuff now at the end. This is the second awards ceremony we've had. Everyone knows we did a mid-season one. We do one at the end, wrap it up. So let's give out some more awards, shall we?
Let's go. Yes, we shall.
All right. So this one was a highly controversial one. People didn't know if we should give this one out or anything like that, but we'll see what the backlash is from this. But this was the best quality kickback trivia performance, and this is just overall for everybody in quality kickback trivia and all that throughout the year. It's not Insure Frames. It's the video platform, which I will not name out of fear of retaliation, for allowing Insure Frames to run away with multiple consecutive wins by speeding up the videos by his own admission. Shout out to them for being able to do that, allowing him to go through what he did.
DRS is a mother. DRS.
It was like a DRS button. It was like pushing a DRS button on the F1 game or something. I was like, oh, okay. This red play button, son of. All right, I'm not gonna go that far. Like, I'm not gonna say the name. Put that out if you need to. That's one award.
Got you.
Also, Jay, have you ever had a debate with a contrarian? That's Insure Frames right there. My guy will always come through and just say whatever's the opposite, whatever you just said 10 seconds ago. But that's okay.
That's right. Keeps it going. Keeps it spicy.
Exactly right. Best team name. This is a good one. Past, present, future, all throughout Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4, Formula Renault, Formula Ford, Formula Academy, W Series. Best team name. It doesn't exist yet, but we believe that AlphaTauri's new name will be the Bulls that aren't red, Taurine, Toro, Tori, Hugo Boss, not Red Bull, Rosso, Kirkland brand, Great Value, RB19 F1 team. Compare it to the RB19, maybe the RB20, see if it's as good as that. It's going to be a long team name, but I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be something along those lines. Maybe.
Yeah, that new team name is horrible.
They need an award for that, though. We have 2 more awards and they're based off of the award that was generated for the Fernando Alonso Award for Greatness.
Okay.
And these awards go to Fernando Alonso first at the 2023 Japanese Grand Prix. And he's going to actually accept this award over an audio that he recorded for us. Hopefully this comes through for you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you not as a driver, but as a gladiator. In this land of the samurai and the GP2 engine, they fed me to the lines, a Ferrari line and a Mercedes line.
Unbelievable. I agree as well. That was in the Suzuka GP. Unbelievable as well. GP2 engine, we know how that was back in, I believe that was 2017. Shout out to Fernando Alonso for accepting that award. There was also a second award, and we couldn't figure out which one we liked better for, which one would win this one. So honorable mention, kind of a co-award goes to Lando Norris. And Fernando actually was the person that accepted the award for him because Lando wasn't there in attendance because of his crash at the Las Vegas GP, and he was at the hospital. So Fernando actually accepted this one for him as well. Take it away. This is at Silverstone.
It's no easy feat. But today, Fernando showed exceptional skill and bravery to keep his car in for a total of 4 laps. Thus giving us all hope of a race victory sometime in the near future. I conclude my speech regardless of his famous quote. One small step for Otto, for Sonoda.
Oh my God. Yeah, that ain't.
Listen, that gets me choked up every time. One small step for Ocon, one giant leap for Sonoda. That's all I gotta say right there. Silverstone, he did his thing. He led for 4 laps, and Fernando definitely hit. Listen, he could have beat Verstappen, but we know it came close. So shout out to them for the Fernando Alonso Awards for Greatness, given away for both of them. Another word from our sponsor, Carmen's Catalonian Croquetas. We remember them from earlier in the year as well. Created in a cocina on la calle en Catalunya. Si tienes hambre, compra Carmen's Cataluña's Croquetas. Yes, the viewing audience knows what it means. We went through this back in June, so we're not.
So, listen, everyone's. I heard Kenny B talking about the whole Red Bull and Honda thing. He's excited for them ditching Red Bull to go to Aston Martin. But you forget, prior to that deal with Aston Martin, they had a deal with Red Bull powertrains that they get the IP. So once they figure out that IP and all that, and try to figure out how they could disassociate with the MGUH, because the MGUH is going to be gone in, I think, 2025 or 2026. 2026. There's a possibility that the dominance of Red Bull will still be there with the little challenge from Aston Martin. So Red Bull is pretty much telling everyone on the grid, 2025, we ain't dead yet. Just because Honda by name is off from us, but Honda in spirit, even with the Ford badging, is still there.
So you
in a way.
Over badging?
Yes. Yes, I am. Confidently with no shame. That I'm just keeping a dog. I'm keeping it a buck.
Yes.
I'm just keeping it a
You
buck.
know, Christian
all
Horner
right.
was talking. Christian Horner was throwing shade about somebody else doing some over badging over there, Andretti. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen. If there's one thing Americans are known for at times, especially American manufacturers, over badging. All right. Hey, listen. Cadillac is going to do a little over badge for at least a season or two, if they approve this whole Andretti deal. Ford is going to be an over badge with the Honda Red Bull powertrain thing. Hey, they're keeping that American spirit, bro. All right. They're keeping that American spirit.
Right.
Shit. And then also next year, I think next year with the advantage Red Bull got with the little upgrades they brought this season, again, like I said earlier, only God himself knows what happens to that car if they actually bring some big upgrades.
Right.
Now that they got their penalty, because people can talk about how lenient the penalty was. you can still see it's like they didn't bring major upgrades compared to Ferrari or as big as what Mercedes brought at Monaco or with McLaren. Nothing too big, but they still had that advantage. So next season,
Hey, we got Kenny B. Let's go. Hey, we got a triple threat tonight. What's up, Kenny B? You hear what Baraca talking about over here, man?
Man, I'm about to beat you down again, bro. Horner is so shameless. He is such a hypocrite. He was behind getting rid of DAS. He was the first one who said something about it being illegal. Dude, you got the best aerodynamicist engineer in the world, and you sitting here throwing salt at everybody else about every little thing that they do that's right, innovating the sport, and you're shitting on your own partners. He shit all over Honda, smeared it on their face and said, "Ooh, don't you like it? Ain't that sexy? Come on, dude. Really?"
hey,
They've already
Hold on. We gonna give Kenny B his 40 seconds. Then you go, Baraca. Go ahead, Kenny B.
they already got Honda for the IP on the ice. So really, all they're really using Ford for is to help them innovate on the MGUK side. Everybody's in for a surprise, because about a year ago, Porsche came out with this new turbocharger, and I haven't found anything on it since then. But they're part of the same group as Audi. Okay, and these teams are talking about now getting 300 watts instead of 160 watts of electric boost out of the electric motor.
All right, hold on, Kenny B. It's Baraca's turn. Baraca, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. What you got?
So with the Porsche thing, with the Porsche thing, being part of Audi. Little birdie, I saw on Twitter the other day, a little birdie saying the heads of Audi are thinking about backtracking from F1. So that gives me an idea that could end up going to Porsche, because they kind of fumbled the bag by being a tad bit too greedy with the whole Red Bull deal, saying they want 51%, knowing damn well during Mattis's time alive on this earth, he was not giving that up. Christian Horner and Marco was like, 51%? Really? You sure about that, Chief? Nah, we good. That's why they went to Ford. But this is Porsche's chance to say, hey, you know what? Let's put it. We're gonna talk to Pappy Volkswagen over here, saying, hey, can you give us a little bit more funding so we can at least run this team on our own? Introduce that little turbocharger you mentioned though, Kenny. Mm-hmm. See if we can implement that in our F1 car, and let's see if we could ruffle the picking order. It's usually Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, those three on top, with McLaren flirting with them. Now it's like, you know what? Let's ruffle that feather around, and let's throw our name into the mix.
All right, Kenny B, what you got in response to that, brother? You got 60 seconds. Respond to that.
Look, this is the whole thing, okay? Yeah, maybe that could happen with Audi. They could become Porsche, or Sauber could become Porsche. I don't think so. Audi's not going to do anything to screw this deal up. They're already committed to it. They've already put the money into it. They already bought a huge stake of Sauber. So that deal is going to go through. Might change the Porsche, but not just to get that new turbocharger technology. The other thing is that don't count out these other teams. Don't count out these other teams. Now, Red Bull is in the situation they're in because they were too greedy and it backfired on them. You got no answer for that. So they got to rely on Ford, and hopefully in their case, Ford can come through on the electric side of the new 26 regulations, because if they don't, it's going to get smelly for RB again. And all of the dynamic prowess in the world ain't going to make up for the lack of power that they felt in 2014 when Mercedes came out with the new regulation.
God damn, right on time, Baraca. You got some time, 60 seconds to respond to that.
All right, so So, it was just announced Ford were going to be part of that GT3 program. So we're going to see how they're going to, figure the whole engine power side. So they're giving us a little teaser with the Mustang GT3 car. So I'm going to hold my reservations on that. Now, in terms of other teams, I'm banking on other teams trying to, bring a push going into 2025, 2026 with this new regulation change. So it's like, I'm not disregarding them. As cocky as I might sound with the whole Adrian Newey tax and the Honda, and I'm on my high horse because one of my favorite Japanese manufacturers is powering Red Bull and Honda. I'm still reserved. Trust me. Listen, I'm still reserved. But in terms of how things are going right now, Red Bull still has that kind of advantage. Honda is taking that advantage to Aston Martin. You got Audi trying to figure out with Sauber what's going on. You got Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren playing catch up, and I feel like they have the ability to be back where they are. So I feel like going into these new regs, it's going to be very interesting to see which teams got the bag, which teams fumbled it, and which teams laid an egg.
So listen, we got Kenny B as the winner of this debate. So he's going to go on to go ahead and debate with Insure Frames, the other Red Bull fan of the channel. So we're going to say goodbye to Obama, and we're going to bring Insure Frames in. He says, my thoughts in the engine power talk. Insure Frames, man, you got your time. We're going to go ahead. We're going to let you go first since you're coming in against the contender right there. You're the contender. Kenny B right now is champion right now. So we're going to let you go ahead and do your thing, man. You got 60 seconds. Go. Hard cut off.
Alrighty, so as far as I've been hearing both of you talk about the new engines and the IP, the Red Bull, the Honda, the whole thing. I think one thing that we also need to keep in mind is that the ICE's relevance in all of this is going to be as less as it has ever been. Because the new half of the power is all electrical. So honestly, it's very, very, very hard to discern whether or not, like, what Ford is going to do. Like, we can speculate, they ditched Honda, and what are the consequences of Honda ditching them because Red Bull treated them bad and all that. I really don't know what Honda or Ford are going to do or Renault are going to do, because this is really going to become an electrical battle. It's to be a battle of all electricity, because the ICEs are just not that relevant. When they only produce 550 horsepower out of 1,000 horsepower, and it's going to be a battle of who can shove the more juice into that battery, who can get the most amount of juice out of those like 300 watts that they can pull up, who can charge the battery the fastest. That's what the battle's going to be like. I honestly don't think, for good or bad, that whatever Honda did.
All right, that's a hard cutoff. That's a hard cutoff. Kenny B, go ahead and respond to that.
I don't think a lot of people know, but Ferrari, on one of their cars in the last 4 years, came out with a hybrid that had a cutting edge electric rotor on it, on the front of the car. Those rotors were invented by a company in England. I can't think of the name of them, but they sold that company. Guess who owns it? Mercedes. And those rotors are going on their new all-electric AMG package, because they're a third of the size, a third of the weight of the existing rotors that are being used, and they're more efficient. Now just think what happens when they start tying that electric motor into their drive shaft. It's lighter weight, it's more efficient. You know what, let's hold that thought for a minute. How about the power unit itself, the ICE? They're supposed to be going to 100% sustainability. Well, Mercedes has been on the cutting edge of making their engine the most efficient ICE engine.
Time. Insure Frames, you got 60 seconds. Respond to that.
After you mentioned the thing about Ferrari and the cutting edge rotor, I started looking into, because I honestly haven't been paying attention much about what's been going on in Le Mans and what their hybrids that they got going over there. Because from what I know, LMP1 and LMPH, similar to what LMP1 used to do, those were very similar in the fact that they also produce like half the power from the electrical part. And as far as what I can see here, Ferrari, Peugeot, Toyota, hell, Aston Martin, but obviously they don't make engines in Formula 1. The only one that's relevant to Formula 1 here is Ferrari. So I wonder if Ferrari is going to do well as well. But I also want to add on to that as well that the Mercedes and the efficiency. I think if the ICE is going to matter, it's going to be who can squeeze every little bit of that limited amount of fuel, because they're actually not changing too much about the engine design. They're just forcing it to eat less fuel. That's actually what they're doing. The engine is so fuel flow limited. It's going to be running on like hyper lean mixture the whole time. They're not actually like making the cylinder small. They're not doing anything else. They're just shoving less fuel into the engine and calling it a day. That's the regs for the ICE, ladies and gentlemen. That's all they did. So
All right,
I agree,
Kenny
actually.
B, you got the last word. Go ahead, and I'm gonna put the poll up. See who's winning. You got 60 seconds.
Yeah, the one problem with that is they're supposed to be they're headed towards 100% sustainable fuel. This is fuel with almost no carbon. And trying to make that work with the power units that they use now, it's not the easiest thing in the world, and be able to keep your performance level. Mercedes has got to jump on everybody with that. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, all the other teams are doing it too. As a matter of fact, Ferrari took a penalty that they created themselves in 2019 and became a partner with the FIA when they got caught cheating with their fuel flow. And they said, you know what, we will help you finance and get the engines to a point where we can do the research and stuff like that to make the engines more sustainable. So they turned a cheating scandal into an advantage. Have you ever seen a team do that before? I mean, Mercedes
Ferrari's not good operationally.
takes their licks. Okay, when they
Tom, we got Kenny B leading by 80%. Insure Frames, good job. But right there, we're gonna have to let you go. Kenny B's gonna go on, and Will says he wants my best, and my best is Kenny B. He is my Drago. So Will says he's gonna get in on this. This is fucking epic. So Will, like we said before, you are the contender. Kenny B is the champion. You will get the opportunity to go first. All right. So what do you want the topic to be? What do you want the topic to be?
Thing, man, that was epic. I haven't done anything like that since high school, and that's like 30 years. That shit was hilarious. Okay.
That debate and that rebuttal, let me tell you, the rebuttals in that whole debate were quite impressive from everybody throughout that entire segment.
So you want to go with tires?
Oh, okay.
I have to pick.
Yeah, you picking. You the contender. You picking. Right now he had the advantage. He done slayed like 3 or 4 people, man, throughout his course of time. So you get to pick the topic to start off with. What do you want to start with before I start that clock?
Let's go with driver lineups.
Boom. All right,
Driver
you go
lineups,
first.
cool.
Go ahead and set the tone.
Okay, so I would think that for the 2025 lineup, let's go with 2025. I think because a lot of those contracts switch over during that time, I think during 2025, we see some people coming from F2, some rookies that are already in driver academies, switch up the ranks. So let's just run down the list. If we go with Red Bull, I would say it's still going to be obviously Max Verstappen still there because he's in contract for another few years after that. I say Sergio Perez is not going to be there after that, and then they bring in someone maybe like Liam Lawson or Daniel Ricciardo there. I think in Aston Martin they're going to have maybe Stroll wouldn't probably be there at that point, and then that brings in Felipe Drugovich to fill in that position. I believe that Fernando Alonso won't be there any longer, and I believe maybe this is where we open up a door for someone like a Jess Hawkins to step in, seeing as how her qualifying her times around her lap times are pretty comparative to some of the other drivers out there. I think if we go to Williams at that point, it might not be a Logan Sargent. It might be somebody that gets brought in as far as maybe you have still. Yeah, I'm running out of time. We'll go to Mercedes. Mercedes is still going to have Lewis Hamilton. All right.
Oh, he said Kenny B said he gonna let you go.
I want to hear this.
Shit.
Okay. All right. Let's run down the list. Let's go with Mercedes. We're still going to have Lewis Hamilton and George Russell still there. Let's go to Alfa Romeo, which will be Sauber. We'll have Teo Pourchaire, and we'll go with possibly it'll be Teo and Zhou Guanyu. Let's go to AlphaTauri. It'll be again. We'll still have Yuki Tsunoda. Maybe we have Liam Lawson brought in after Super Formula. We'll go with Williams. Let's say it'll be Alex Albon, and it's either going to be Logan Sargent or, just Logan Sargent right now. I can't think of anybody else that could fill in there. Or Frederick Vesti. Let's go to, let me think. course, we have McLaren still going to be Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. I don't see anybody else filling in one of those spots. Piastri would have to tank really heavily to bring in like Padua Ward or somebody, so I think it's going to be the two of them. Let's see, who else can we? I think we've covered. Most of them. I'm trying to think. We'll end there. We'll go from there.
All right,
Off
60
top of my
seconds,
head.
Kenny B, you go ahead.
You got the advantage on me, man, because I really just started paying attention to Formula 2 drivers to the point where I know who they are. But there's only one driver who's got a shot at making the grid, and the problem is he can't make it next year because there's no slot for him, and that's Liam Lawson. That dude is the new Perez and Piastri, and I'll tell you why. What he's done is he's shown that he can step up in speed and technology on the steering wheel with limited time and show that he's quick. That is not easy to do, especially with a car that has problems, okay? The problem is there's not enough track time for the F2 drivers to actually get used to that speed and pulling those G's and getting used to hitting those brakes, slamming on those brakes the way they have to, and still be able to have touch. It just doesn't happen. It's the same thing with the women. They don't get a chance at Formula One because they don't race on that level enough. They don't get enough opportunities to race on that level. So the question is, who's that 1C going to go to? Now, the only other thing is FIA is biased towards IndyCar drivers. They get less points in racing in a more competitive series than Formula 2 drivers get towards their FIA license. It's ridiculous. And even the drivers have come out and said, this is wrong. There are some great IndyCar drivers who should have a chance at driving Formula One. But it just, the way the whole politics is set up, it's not going to happen. If you don't get a chance shot at replacing somebody who's injured, you just won't get it. And Liam Lawson's the only change I see coming.
All right, so I tell you what, I'm going to set this topic. 2026, new regulations change. Who is the top performing team and why? Will, you get to go ahead and go. You got 60 seconds on the clock. Make it happen.
All right, I'll go with Mercedes. And this isn't even like a bias to anything or anything like that. I would say it would be Mercedes for the simple fact that I believe that with everything going, sustainable fuels and all that, the ace in the hole with Mercedes is that Paddy Lowe owns his own company, owns his own fossil-free synthetic fuel company called Zero, and I think that that's their ace in the hole. So if they were to consult with anybody that would be able to get them to have an engine that would be the most efficient with running on these sustainable fuels, they have Paddy Lowe already in as their ace in the hole. Paddy Lowe, if people don't know, Paddy Lowe was on the team along with Aldo Costo and a lot of people that were on that dream team back in the 2010s that won them their back-to-back. How many are we counting here? The back-to-back Constructors Championships. So that's the dream team. So if they're going to bring somebody in that's going to make that work when they make these engine regulation changes, it would be Mercedes because they might already be ahead of the game. I know a lot of people were talking about Red Bull with this whole entire Ford thing, but honestly, that whole entire Red Bull thing was a sham to begin with. They definitely made it so that they could easily compete against Mercedes and have Mercedes come to the point where they would get rid of some of their advantages with the
We're gonna
Porsche
let
thing.
Kenny B go ahead and go in, man.
Man, I might actually lose this one because Will is on it. The Paddy Lowe thing, I just got one problem with that. Mercedes relies solely on Petronas. They got way more bucks than Paddy Lowe does. Paddy Lowe he is going to be a billionaire by getting ready to be a supplier for Formula One for sustainable fuels. The thing is, he's probably going to supply the rest of the field, not Mercedes, because there's a lot more involved in getting the performance out of the engine and being able to put what you need to make the changes you need to be able to make chemistry wise to not just the fuel, but to the oils and to the hydraulic fuels, all of that. I mean, they measure all that stuff for engine wear, inter-engine particulates, all of that after every session, after every race. So that's a big thing, and that's a big step for Paddy. I think he's going to pull it off. No problem with that. The thing is, everybody thinks that 50% of the power is coming from electric, and it's not. It's like a third of the power because they're moving up from 160 to 320.
Time. We have a fucking draw. 50%. Wait. At the last minute, 55% with the Kenny B, 44% with the Will, 9 votes. Kenny B is still the champ of the F1 minute debate.
I called it because Will was
On your ass, bro.
and he was killing it.
I've never seen the poll fluctuate that damn much. I bullshit you not. When I hit the button, it was at 50-50, and then when it calculated 55-44, Kenny B, thank you very much, sir, for being the debate king of 2023 in F1 Minute, bro. We're going to let Will bring us in, man. Hey, always love having you, man. Make sure you stay here throughout the offseason, bro.
I will.
Kenny B, love it.
Yeah, Will, what you got for us, brother? Hey, that was good, bro. What you got for us? Kenny B, hey, he be repping. What you got?
You know, that reminds me of Around the Horn on ESPN. That totally reminds me of that, the way that always plays out when everyone just comes in and just like quick fire, bring in your points, bring in what you got. We got something going on there. That's pretty good. I like that. That's pretty cool.
It was. I enjoyed it. What you got, bro?
So we got a few more awards to close this out. So we've got the OMG award. Charles Leclerc for not completing the formation lap in Brazil. This is the second consecutive year for Leclerc winning this award, if you remember. Charles Leclerc also won this award in 2022 at Paul Ricard in France with the loud shout out of the no as he crashed into the wall and realized that he wasn't going to beat Max Verstappen for that year. He pretty much just fell apart after Paul Ricard. So congrats to him. 2 years in a row for getting the OMG award. I have no idea what's going on over at Ferrari. And again, this just tags me back to the thing that Insure Frames was saying. I'm not worried about Mercedes and Ferrari's going to be the one that steps up. Have you not been watching the same seasons that we've been watching for the past... What Kimi Räikkönen won it in 2007, and ever since then, there's been no driver champion at the team that, by the way, has a whole bunch of money just given to them for just being there, and still can't put it together. So I have no idea what he's talking about, but I just wanted to just shout that out as well, that they get an extra bunch of money and they still can't put it together. They lost by 4, 5, 6 points to Mercedes, so numbers don't count anymore. I guess that's P2, P3. I don't know. So, congrats to Charles Leclerc for winning that award again. We have the most plans per race award, and you already know it's going to Ferrari for having so many plans. They switched to the Greek letters like the National Weather Service does when they're naming hurricanes. Sources tell us they reached a record 37 different plans in one race. We don't know if that's really true or not, but I would assume, just because we've heard the radio comms and everything, that we are checking, things like that. It's a possibility that they probably reached that level of different plans. Our most shocking F1 minute moment. Throughout the year, we've had a lot of F1 minute moments. I brought in a lot of different things to the different topics that we've had. Grudge race topics and race topics, qualifying, the different stuff we do throughout Discord and all that. So, the most shocking F1 moment. 1 second here. It's actually you. Most shocking moment. Was you?
I was like, what the fuck?
Was it?
I was like,
was your face when you saw me?
Bro, that shit, I was like, what the? I was like, damn, Will done.
As if he really saw Ramses sitting on the. As I came in for a happy Halloween for everybody, nobody was ready for that.
Not
it was
at
pretty
all.
great. That is our most shocking F1 minute moment. We're going to take this out with our final sponsor, and it is a classic. They've been with WPPN for ages. And that is DRS Chicken. Made in Dresden, the heart of the Deutschland. 1 out of 3 drivers for the long-term fans, they know it used to be 1 out of 5 drivers, but they tweaked the recipe a little bit, so now we're down. Now we got it to 1 out of 3 drivers on the grid.
All right.
Devour Dresden delicious DRS chicken. Rather than another competitor made by a famous colonel from the bluegrass state, I don't know who that is. When you use your main course to go with all the fixings, choose DRS chicken. Back to you, Jay.
Damn, that's what I'm talking about. Ending on a happy, full, no F1 minute. Listen, I told you all we were going to be trying to work that debate class in. That debate session is going to keep going. 2024 coming in the season. I think this is just a phenomenal way for us to cap off a 2023 F1 minute, the first time it's being done and being done here, especially in the F1 ecosystem of content creators. You all make it the dopest, and we're just gonna build and make it better from here, especially with the debate segment coming in towards the end of the show. And this is where I always say, Quartery Keyboard fans out there, regardless of who the team is, y'all always in the comments. Come on and debate, and let's see what you really got when the smoke is up. Don't hide. Don't run away when the lights come on like rats and roaches like you do in the comment section. Let's see if you got the balls, the gumption, and the heart to pull up on F1 Minute and debate Kenny B, Ill Will, Baraca, Insure Frames, anybody that pulls up, Tanya. See if you got the damn know-how to debate. And Ill Will on the back end of that just dropped 5 Wolfpack memberships, but we got some super chats to also read. Galactus said, have you heard of Cadillac LMP car all power? Spider R35 says, best F1 minute to date. Keep the debate segment. And then following that, Ill Will just gifted 5 people Wolfpack memberships. Kirk Whiteman, Ursa, DG the God, DP. We also have Jimmy Conway, Titus08, and Nidus Black. You just got gifted Wolfpack memberships from Ill Will. Sylvia Wick Kelly says, thank you to everyone. This was epic, and it was epic, and it's epic because you all take part in the content creation and make it epic. So with that being said, we do have some things coming up, so you don't want to miss Wolfpack. You don't want to miss this channel. We're going to keep things rolling even in the off season. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some special events coming up to cap off the 2023 season. And we also have the F1 Wolfpack Epic Grudge Racing Series coming up, where we're going to give away this full bundle in our F1 Championship Esports Racing Series. You're going to get a Fanatec wheel, a Fanatec base that's PlayStation, Xbox, PC ready, and the Fanatec pedals. And all you got to do is come have fun and drive in the Wolfpack Epic Grudge Racing Series. So you do not want to miss that. That is what we're going to be doing. Hey, Sylvia Wick just gifted another 5 people Wolfpack memberships. Let's see who get those. We got Pashava gets it. Chris Popular gets it. K Camo gets it. We got Ollie Man gets it. And Pure Black is the 5th and last on that gift. That's what I'm talking about. Wolfpack memberships have been gifted to you all. Get into the Discord because we're still going to do Wolves Den on the weekends regardless. This family, this platform will not stop breathing and die out because the Formula One season is over. We're going to run through the off season and run into the new season of 2024 for hopefully what will be more competitive and spectacular racing on the track, less racism on the track and off the track, and a better and building platform here at Wolfpack. That's what we're doing. So with that being said, you know what I always say. You know I'm your boy and your host, Jay, and we keeping this thing running and keeping it running up. I am going to say big shout out to you all. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for joining us for a damn sure wonderful show. And we will see you soon on another live, surely this coming up week. All right. And that's Wolfpack. I'm out. Peace.